we find in the book of Numbers chapter 22 a very interesting story given out to us. We find the king of Moab, King Balak, was afraid of the nation of Israel, and he wanted to hire the prophet Balaam to curse Israel for him. So he sent some people over to Balaam, and God told Balaam, don't go with these people. So these people came back to Balak and told King Balak that he wouldn't come with us. So Balak again sent more people, more honorable people this time to Balaam. And there was also a reward that was going to be given should Balaam come and do what Balak asked. So God told Balaam the second time that if the men approached him in the morning, he could go with them, but he'd only say what God told him to say. Obviously, the flip side was true. If the men didn't approach Balaam, he shouldn't go with them. Well, Balaam wanted that money. He wanted those rewards, whatever it was. So he didn't wait for the men to approach him in the morning. He just got up and went with them. Well, the Lord was angry, and an angel of the Lord came down. And we know the story. If you're much of a Bible student, you know that the donkey that Balaam was riding on seen the angel of the Lord in the path 3 separate times. Balaam couldn't see the angel. 3 separate times the donkey tried to turn out of the way to avoid confrontation with the angel. Balaam didn't know what was going on, so he gets mad at the donkey and starts hitting the donkey. Though we find the last time that the angel was standing in a narrow place with a wall on one side and a wall on the other. The donkey couldn't really turn out of the way, but in trying to, the donkey smashed Balaam's foot up against one of those walls, and boy, Balaam was angry. But we find in verse number 28 that the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, What have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass, Because thou hast mocked me. I would there were a sword in mine hand, for now would I kill thee. And the ass said unto Balaam, Am not I thine ass upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine unto this day? Was I ever wont to do so unto thee? And he said, Nay. Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. I have one point I would like to bring out of this story. Sin will make you do some stupid things, will it not? Sin will make you go crazy. It will take you away from your senses. You say, how do you get that from this? Well, look at this. The donkey is talking. The donkey is talking to Balaam, and Balaam is talking to the donkey. And Balaam does not seem to stop and ponder this for a minute that, this animal is talking to me. How did he not notice? Well, Balaam had 2 sins that were his problem, lust and anger. Apparently he let his temper get the best of him. And obviously this lust of the reward had already gotten the best of him. So Balaam was now in sin, and he wasn't acting right. I like what one preacher said, the donkey was talking to Balaam, and Balaam was neighing like an animal. Well, however that was, the donkey was talking, and Balaam didn't even seem to notice that this is strange. Boy, sin will bring you out of your senses, will it not? Have you ever seen somebody get into sin and they just go crazy? I mean, if they're saved, they get away from God. If they're possibly not saved, but they get further out, they just go crazy. They lose all their senses. They seem to lose bearings with reality. That is the danger of being involved in sin. Sin can blind you. Sin can blind you to reality, and that is exactly what Satan wants to do. That way, if you're lost, he can blind you to reality and send you straight to hell by you being involved in sin. And if you're saved, he can get you involved in sin and blind you to the reality that you should not be living that way, and blind you to the reality of people around you that need you to live right. So let's take a lesson from this story. Try your best not to be involved in sin. Don't let sin get the best of you. I know we all mess up in sin. I do it as well. I had some things that I had to repent of myself in preparing for this message. But don't let sin take you. Catch it in the early stages. That way you can keep sin from literally driving you crazy, making you insane, making you do stupid things, and make you miss many opportunities to either get saved or at least to live a good Christian life for other people around you can see.